And welcome back to the commentator booth, where we have another match for you between people we do not know anything about.
Actually,
But what do we have?
Sadistica Alliance here are neighbors of mine. They live in Losec, near not too far from us. We fought them a few times. They like to bring a lot of logistics. In this case, they can only bring one. We have Sadistica Alliance against No Holes Barred, a wormhole corporation that has come in 1 point under. And we're going to test our theory here. We have another cruiser-heavy, high DPS setup coming from No Holes Barred this time, and we have a double Chronos setup from Sadistica, which has warped in at 30 kilometers, at least with their Chronos. So we have some of the ships that have warped in at a little longer range. Their support frigates are back at 50, and they've warped in at about a 90-degree angle from one another, so they're probably on the order of 40 apart. We'll see how this goes when the match starts. We have the countdown in local right now, 3, 2, 1, and we should be off. Ships should start moving, and we should see drones here in just a second.
And the match is underway. So No Holds Barred has come with a vigilant rush team that is going to try to close up distance as soon as they can to Sadistic Alliance. While Sadistic Alliance is fielding a more of a traditional control team, where they will hopefully bring some of their webbing as well as their tankier frigates up to the front to hold the No Holds Barred team back. But at the moment, it looks like No Holds Barred is trying to go around the Cronoses to reach to the backfield of Sadistic Alliance, where their Oneros is situated.
It's absolutely what they're doing, and it's interesting the Vexors have not launched any drones either to try to send them across the field. We have them just burning right now. We have some light drones launched from some of the support here, but we have a lot of armor maintenance bots out for No Holes Barred, so they're using... I'm sorry, those were Sadistica Alliance. They're different colors on the other monitor here. But they're using those as part of their tank as well. But really, we're not seeing much damage yet. We have some damage coming down on the first Vexor Driller Killer on No Holes Barred's team. Logistics' pilot is already on it. Eloy Alderon already has reps pre-staged on him. I'm not sure they needed to be on when he was at 90% shields, but at least we know he's paying attention.
Why not? And a Molus is being tracking disrupted. Now, this is a, shall we say, an interesting decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, we have 3 Vexors that are being tracking disrupted when we have 2 Vigilants on the field for No Holds Barred that are not. But at this point, really, with very little damage being applied anywhere, it's maybe not that much of a critical decision. The Damnation maybe being used as bait here is just starting to take some damage. She's getting shot as a very interesting first choice of primary.
Wow, what do you think about that? A Damnation being the first primary on a field with lots and lots of Tech 1 cruisers as well as Vigilance.
That is certainly an interesting choice. I guess the Chronos are actually right on top of him, and they are neuting him. I guess they decided with the Chronos they have enough damage. The Damnation does have the weakest resist being thermal. They were maybe hoping he didn't plug it. I doubt that, but they're trying, kind of beating their heads against a brick wall right now, almost literally.
Yeah, this is really strange, and here we see the repping drone effects on that the Sadistica Alliance Oneros already applied, and that is a whole lot of rep going on when and if it gets primary. Then again, No Holes Barred has not managed to swing around the Cronoses from Sadistic Alliance and actually get anywhere near that Oneros. Right now, they're priming an Ishkar, which has decided to go up front and tackle ships, but by doing so, managed to slip out of rep range until now, when the Oneros from Sadistic Alliance was forced to come closer, and this could prove to be a very dangerous decision indeed.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch how the frigates are kind of skirting around the outside, doing this kind of dance around, leaving the big ships in the middle and not really engaging one another. We'll see if they actually, you can kind of see down in the bottom corner there, you can watch that happen a little bit as it goes down. That Ishkar, though, back to full armor. Crucifier taking just a hint of damage. Damnation still being pounded on. And now the Oneros, Eloy Alderon for No Holds Barred, is sustaining some damage as well.
Absolutely. So he's been tackled. He's webbed, neutered, and going to be primaried very shortly. Once these Cronoses from Sadistic Alliance get anywhere in range and start applying damage as we see it, that Oneros is just starting to melt. When that Oneros dies on No Holds Barred side, which it will do before any of the ships on the Sadistic Alliance have really ran into too much of a trouble, this is going to go one way.
Absolutely. He has one of the Chronos right on top of him there, and despite his high resist again to Cannon Therm with that web on him and the Newt on him, he will have a lot of trouble tanking a massive
Having
DPS.
said that, the Oneros on the Sadistica side was forced into range, had to come in close, is now webbed and scrambled.
It's going to be interesting to see which one of these goes first, although it looks like Eloy Alderaan is in much, much deeper trouble. Sadistica Alliance's Oneros is not really taking a significant amount of damage yet. He's lost his shields, but he seems to be holding on just fine in armor. But that is very good use of dampening and range to force the Oneros to come in. That is something that you use damps for, is to pull the logistics in closer to your close-range ships. Look at all the tracking disruption going down on No Holds Barred.
Wow, I was just going to say it. Oh my god, that is... did they come prepared to perhaps meet a
maybe some metagaming going on, or just a gamble? Well, the Oneros is now down for No Holds Barred. I think things will start to snowball now. But yeah, trying to track the Oneros signature with no target painter, even with a web, he's still moving at 30 meters a second or so, probably A-Bing around. It's going to be very difficult with that much tracking disruption.
Absolutely, and what you see here is these massive amount of rep drones keeping this Sadistica Alliance Oneros alive. This is probably about 15-20 rep drones on the Oneros, and that is why he is hanging on there, even with all of these vigilants right on top of him.
Indeed, it looks like Tisa Ragebreaker is now webbed and starting to take some damage. He should enter armor here shortly. I think they've finally given up on the damnation. That's probably a smart decision. And we have the Vexor of Driller Killer now also taking damage. The Vengeance of Aston Hodge into armor, fighting a little bit of a support battle, it looks like. So, again, I think No Holds Barred is really fighting an uphill battle here. Though Sadistica is about to lose their Oneros. He's about to go into structure. If he goes down, then the match could still flip. Right now, it's still almost all the damage on the field for No Holds Barred. And the Oneros is now down, so we're now just down to a brawl. It's who brawls better against this, the enemy E-War. And there is a lot of E-War being thrown around by Sadistica.
Absolutely. I think, interestingly enough, though, Sadistica Alliance has not yet lost their repping drones. The repping drones are still out there, and they're able to put them back on whoever gets primaried, which gives Sadistica Alliance here a considerable advantage against No Holds Barred, who right now have no reps whatsoever.
Indeed, that's something you consider. Maybe do you have your Ishkars at this point possibly go in? I get the Ishkars are probably trying to run down the Maulus and Enyo, but if the damps aren't playing much of a problem because you're in so close, and here goes a Vigilant just dropped for No Holds Barred. I think now it's pretty one-sided. But is that a decision that you think makes a difference when your blaster boat's already at close range? Damps don't really matter. Do you turn your support frigates in to kill off the rep drones so you can break through that damage?
I think so. I think that would be a very smart decision indeed. And these Vigilants as well, perhaps should have gotten a little bit of range in this Kronos. This Kronos is now getting primaried from Isildur, but he is not taking enough damage. This is not. They are not killing him fast enough with Vigilance and these Ishkars starting to die on No Holds Barred side.
Absolutely. This is sort of the problem with the cruiser setups, is they are very flimsy. They just, they do a lot of damage, but they also die very easily. Once that logistics goes down, if they brought one, which in this case they did, once that logistics goes down, the rest of the setup kind of collapses, and it's kind of a gamble that you're just going to bring overwhelming DPS and win very quickly, or you're not going to win at all. That Kronos, like you say, just not taking enough damage to do really anything to him. We see the second Vigilant now of Mirrodin going into structure just here in a second, and the third one is tackled and neuted, and he will be going down very quickly after that.
That's right. There's just too much E-War and neuts going on here for this one remaining Vigilant to be any threat whatsoever. Of course, No Holds Barred still has 3 Vexors, but with no reps whatsoever, and this Kronos not taking enough damage at all and actually being repped perhaps by a local
ancillary
armor rep, as well as those rep bots which can still come out and which probably are right now out there as well. This is not going well for No Holds Barred.
So it seems like warping in at range maybe paid off for Sadistica. They didn't get their Kronos immediately tackled and just webbed down and blown to pieces right off the bat. There was a bit of a skirmish, a little bit of dancing going on at the first couple of minutes of the match. We didn't see a lot happening, but actually what was happening is a lot of positioning, a lot of people kind of diving in and out, daring someone to make a mistake, and then eventually both teams committed, and it was a very decisive and one-sided finish here. We have Sadistica trying to clean up before the timer, about 1:45 left. I'm not sure. I think they will get the Vigilant. They might even get the Vexors, but that damnation is going to take a while to get through.
Yes, this is a match that Drunken Disorderly should take some notes and watch on replay, because this is how you do it with a control-based team. You come in at range and you pick off the targets that you want to isolate and you go for it. On the other side, No Holds Barred came onto the field with a rush-based team, but then decided to run the opposite direction, perhaps to get a little bit better positioning, but just didn't work out well enough for them. Sadistica was able to catch that No Holds Barred Oneros before No Holds Barred were able to send their Vigilance and Vexers out and around and back into the Oneros belonging to Sadistica Alliance. And with that Oneros gone, they were just not able to win the DPS race here.
Absolutely. Another Vexer down. The second one is going. Driller Killer will finally, despite having been primary 3 times now, finally will die. We'll probably see RC Moonpie after that. I don't think the Damnation will die. Pontius will probably be the lone survivor for No Holds Barred. Will keep his Damnation to take back to the wormhole with him and perhaps run links for his fleet next time they run some sleeper sites.
That's right. Sadistica Alliance has decided to go for the Vexer instead. They might actually have enough time in 30 seconds to blast through his tank, which they are trying to do. Kronos, of course, being Marauders, have a very low sensor strength, which might go against them against a ECM-based team, but this time around there was no ECM on the field as such, no jammers to worry about, and they were able to sail through and apply damage. And as we see, 5 seconds left on the match, the Damnation is going to hold strong and survive to fight another day, but not in this tournament. And with that, Sadistica Alliance takes the victory decisively and moves on within the bracket. And with that, we're going to pass you back to the studio.